Welcome to KNS Exposed, episode 3. I am Kay, Kristy.
I am Shawn, the S.
And welcome back to those of you that are joining us this lovely Sunday evening. We are talking tonight about Working Girl. If you caught our last episode, knowing what was coming next, Working Girl with Harrison Ford, Sigourney Weaver, and the beautiful
third build, Melanie Griffith.
Third build, right? Melanie Griffith, who had her clothes on for most of the movie, which was good. This is definitely an 80s movie, so it was my pick, and of course it's an 80s movie, so it's my pick, 1988.
I picked an 80s movie last week.
Yeah, but okay, we won't. Last week, if you listened to last week, it was good last week.
Of course, I listened to last week.
Yeah, okay, but Leviathan versus Working Girl are two completely movies. Mine was on land, as we discussed.
It's true. Yours was on land. There was more nudity in your movie.
Thank you.
So yeah,
more
I definitely
more sex scenes going on.
Sure.
Than Leviathan.
No Amanda Pays in her underwear, but that's all right.
True. Nobody running around doing all the exercise.
No shoulder pads.
Oh yes, Leviathan. There was a lot of shoulder pads in this.
Many more shoulder pads.
Many more shoulder pads. Like to the point, a couple outfits. I turned to Shawn and said, "Yeah, I probably had that shirt. At the very least, I had those, shoulder pads. They were very big back then." Anyway, this was my pick. We usually say why it was our pick. And, for obvious reasons, hence exposing each other to movies we haven't seen before. Shawn had not seen this. He thinks he's seen...
I have seen parts of it, and I was aware of the film.
Yeah.
I mean, and I obviously, I had known the principal cast that was in it. It was just something that was on the periphery. I believe that when it came out, I was trying to think as I was rewatching the trailers on the disc after the movie. I think I probably saw some of the trailers or TV spots when on television at the time, and really wanting to see the movie because it had Sigourney Weaver from Ghostbusters in it and Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones. Why wouldn't I want to see this movie as a 7-year-old? Or 8-year-old or whatever I was at the time, and my mom was just like, "Nah, I don't think it's a movie for you." And she's right. She's right. It probably wasn't a movie for me. But those are two heroes. Okay, I did see movies that I wasn't supposed to see as a kid.
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver, I knew from the Alien franchise already. And Ghostbusters, which was one of my favorite movies as a young boy.
Yes.
And Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones and Han Solo.
What would your mother be keeping you from? Shoulder pads at this point?
No, there were shoulder pads in the house at that point. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Your mom had the shoulder pads.
I was aware.
She
had nothing, the hair too.
Okay, there's not an overt sexuality in the. Sorry. Let me take that back. There's not overt sex in this.
I mean, there is a clip from a porno in this movie.
Oh my gosh, it's brief. It
is brief.
But if your mom was sheltering you from that, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you're the better son for it. You're the better man for it.
I don't know that that's true one way or the other.
I don't think it was going to make you a deviant or anything.
No, but also, why would, let's face facts. If I said, "Hey mom, I really want to see Working Girl," first of all, I don't know that she knew what Working Girl was. Based on that title, she might have thought it was a movie about prostitutes.
Right, which is what we said last week. Remember when I introduced the next show?
Right.
And I said, we're watching Working Girl, and you lit up. You got all excited. And I said, babe, it's not a porno. That's not what, yeah. And I know you were let down.
I was deflated a little.
Yeah, you were a little bit deflated. I'm sorry I did that to you, but...
it's made up by the fact that 70% of the female cast look like prostitutes with the amount of makeup.
Oh, the hair in this. Okay. The hair, we have to talk about, well, first of all, we typically, in our segment here, we tend to segue into other things. Mm-hmm. We could literally talk 20 minutes about the hair in this. movie.
I'm willing to bet that since
Or the eyeshadow.
Since this movie was shot on land,
yes,
and
yes, it was.
Is probably
yes, it was.
had very minimal special effects because there's no need to. It's a very grounded story. I'm willing to bet that 10% of this movie's budget went to Aquanet.
Or White Rain.
Or White Rain.
I'm sorry, I'm a White Rain girl. My hair didn't move in the 80s. Strong winds couldn't move mine. And I would like to thank White Rain for that. By the way, they are not sponsoring us. If you're listening,
if they'd like to,
if you're listening, White Rain, I literally could have owned stock in you in the 80s. You held my hair in place for many years, and I thank you. That's just me.
And I'd like to hold you as a sponsor.
Yeah.
So if you want to give me money to give a shout out to White Rain every episode,
yeah,
I will happily do that.
Yes, we will. We will drop it on the fly. Just, like randomly. Just do a shout out to K&S and we're here for you.
Yeah.
But what I found interesting is after we ended this movie tonight, I came in the room and you were watching a trailer of this. And interestingly enough, I can't say I've ever seen the trailer just because I've seen this movie so much. I love it. But interesting, in the trailer, there's like 3 or 4 scenes that are not in the movie, which was fascinating to me because as many times as I've seen this, I did not know that. So there's clearly
outtakes that exist. But they're
cut
not,
scenes that
I mean they're probably on the cutting room floor and maybe they belong there. I'm not saying they don't. I did make a comment when we were watching this movie early on that there was some hard edits in it.
Yes.
Where the movie just
fast,
like, a scene did not feel like it ended naturally before it cut over to another scene.
Yeah.
No good. I mean, a few bad transitions, and I have to wonder if that's just editing after the fact. By the studio cutting something out because the scenes that
you would think not.
You would think not,
but this is a DVD that we are watching. That's the only version we have of this movie. I suppose we could get it digitally, right? If we wanted to.
I'm sure you can.
But I would like a better version of this with some behind the scenes outtakes, etc.
A Blu-ray exists.
Well, and why don't we own it?
Because it's out of print.
Okay.
Well,
you need to work a little bit harder.
Once
Why
I get that White Rain money rolling
okay.
I can upgrade us to the Blu-ray.
There you go again. White Rain.
Or Aquanet, if you still exist. Aquanet.
Yeah, I prefer White Rain.
I know, but
to be honest with you,
pink.
I'm just saying it held. No, it held better.
Bottle.
It held better. It just spray bottle, just everything about it. Oh my god!
I don't know. I think we should interview Joan Cusack and find out.
Okay.
What the real?
I actually, what's funny is I was looking up. We're not going to tap into what this won for awards necessarily, but what I found fascinating is, God bless you, Sigourney, you were passed over. On this.
Everyone was passed over. It was nominated for a shit ton of movies.
Yeah.
Or a ton of awards.
No, but I mean, she was passed over for Alien. I believe Marlee Matlin won that year, if I'm not mistaken, over Sigourney. And then she was passed over for this. And it sucks. Because, there it is right there. The double disappointment came just 2 years after her first nomination for Best Actress for Aliens. She lost that year to Marlee Matlin. So, Sigourney didn't win for this. Honestly, if we're going to go there, I would like to have seen Melanie win over Sigourney. I mean, Sigourney's not bad in this. Well, she's quite good. This is Melanie's...
was also nominated, and she didn't win either.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But would you not agree if I said to you, is this Melanie's movie or Sigourney's?
It's Melanie's movie. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I'm upset Sigourney lost the Oscar, but if somebody was going to win, I'd prefer it be Melanie, just saying. Even over Harrison. Sorry, Melanie, this was Melanie's movie. Yeah?
Absolutely. Harrison was not nominated. I think he's the only one in the main cast.
And that's not actually surprising. He's adorable in this, don't get me wrong, but it's not Harrison's movie.
Not in the same way that, like,
well, what he
Indiana
should have been
Jones
nominated
is
for,
his movie or something, but
right? But when he was in his office, actually changing shirts and like putting water under his armpits because he had just been to Memphis and he came back and then he looks and all the ladies are watching him and clapping for him. I mean, that could have been Oscar worthy there.
It's a very
he had his shirt off.
Fun scene.
He had his shirt off.
Also,
that's like Oscar.
Also, his office has transparent vertical blinds.
Yes.
And I thought,
it's very 80s.
I thought in that scene, I'm like, actually, that's a cool look.
Right.
But why is transparent blinds?
Yeah, I don't know.
Even a practical thing.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? Close them to make a point?
Right? Like, because it's not like, whoa, what are you keeping out? Like, light? Not even light. Like, nothing. They're transparent.
Yeah. You're going to see those
pets
no matter
cheesy.
what.
You know how hard those are to clean, too? They're super hard. And then when they get dirty, they're just like that grime that hangs.
Vertical blinds?
Yeah.
I don't think the transparent ones would be that.
Oh, I think so. I think
so.
I think I know
Windex
this.
And just go straight down.
I lived in the 80s. I know all about blinds.
All your transparent blinds?
Yeah, trust me. And by the way, not Oscar worthy with his taking off his shirt. I mean, that was more of like, oh, you should have been nominated for like Nickelodeon award. Did that even exist back then?
I don't believe that.
No, I don't think it's so. But I'm saying, but you know what I mean? That's
Working Girl's also an R-rated film. I'm sure Nickelodeon wouldn't be throwing awards at it.
Oh, that's true. Well, our good friend Ruby, if you're listening, I'm doing a shout out to you. Ruby loves that scene, and we often joke about it where he's, washing himself under the armpits and changing his shirt. It's a beautiful scene. Harrison Ford at your finest. You know what was missing from that scene, though? White Rain was actually...
Oh, no, White Rain was present. It was in the background on the girls looking over...
This is true.
Harrison Ford.
Yeah. I would like to think what wasn't nominated for this, but probably should have been, speaking of White Rain, is the makeup awards for this in the Oscars. I mean, because really, the amount of eyeshadow, like that, I mean, it's a lot of work to do that much. Even Joan Cusack alone, her eyeshadow. By the way, not that anybody cares, but I had big hair in the 80s. I had probably 20 different colors of eyeshadow. And I never did them the way Joan Cusack did as a painting almost of her eyes. But I did have quite... I did a lot of blue. So that's why this spoke to me because I was like, oh my God. Although my hair was never that high. But I mean...
I'm wondering if this movie, because since it was a popular film and well received at the time, did something to end the 80s in the hair regard. Because I feel like they made a point with Griffith's hair in particular, to tame it down real quick at the beginning of the movie.
She had to. She had to be taken seriously,
right?
Yeah.
But every other woman in the office, other than Sigourney Weaver, also had ridiculous hair.
Yeah, because they were in the secretarial pool,
right? So it was
apparently
one of those situations of dress for the job you want, not the job you have, sort of thing. And
oh wow! What are you quoting to me right there? That's another movie.
Who moved the cheese or something like that. Who moved my cheese?
Wow!
Some business.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think it's that sort of scenario. It's like okay, like the movie.
It's also from Picture
the
Perfect.
Making
there you
a
go.
Statement.
Did you see Picture Perfect?
I have not seen.
Anyway, Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
That's where it comes
I
from.
haven't seen it.
No, that's what. Okay, that's what. You've seen Leprechaun with Jennifer Aniston.
I didn't see Leprechaun before because of Jennifer Aniston.
You just gave me the look though, like I didn't see Picture Perfect because of Jennifer Aniston, and then yet you've seen. I know your love of Leprechaun. There's something.
Leprechaun. Leprechaun was
it's not a good movie, but okay. But this isn't about Leprechaun.
Why do you hate little people so much?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. No, we're not going there. For the record, I do not hate little people. I don't think Leprechaun's a very good movie. We digress.
I mean, I wasn't digressing. You're the one who took it to Pitch Perfect.
Well, no, because you had to say dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Business mantra for
I know.
decades.
Anyway, it was in Picture Perfect, and that's what took me to it.
Okay.
You can't throw stuff out there and then, when this is a podcast about movies, and not expect me to grab that apple from the tree when it's something that I've seen before. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe the people who made Pitch Perfect were big fans of Working Girl.
Oh, not Pitch Perfect. No, that's not what I said.
Picture Perfect.
Picture Perfect. Sorry, Jesus. Picture Perfect. Oh, also, when we started the movie, I looked over at you because we were talking about the big hair, and you did a little giggle when Sigourney came on, and I said, I actually don't mind Sigourney's hair as far as the 80s go. And you said, oh, I have something to say about this.
Yeah.
And then you were holding it to the podcast.
And that was my point, is that Sigourney's hair, while still big, was much more of a professional hairstyle.
Absolutely.
Than any of the other girls were wearing. And she was the boss lady, so she should be that way. Melanie Griffith cuts her hair shorter.
Oh, yeah.
You know, takes it off the shoulders, basically, doesn't make it so big because she's trying to look more businessy, you know, working.
Right.
And I think that if I was a young girl watching this movie, like if I was in my 17s or early, like let's say early 20s, I might actually take a lesson from that.
Sure.
And say, hey,
I mean, they made...
this is how I should be looking, not like this.
Yeah, well, I mean, sure, they made Melanie like a little over the top with her big hair in the beginning because, you know, you kind of have to do that because then it's like, okay, we got to like discuss why we like all of a sudden, you know, we got to pretty her up pretty fucking quick.
The uglier or the more over the top you make her to begin with, the greater the transition into...
Also, I liked what you said. Granted, we had to keep pausing for a couple of reasons tonight, you know, here and there. I don't think that had anything to do with it, but I do like that you said, finally, when Harrison came onto the scene, you said, wow, it took a bit for Harrison to come onto the scene. I'm
shocked at how long this movie goes without introducing Harrison.
Yeah. I mean, well worth the wait, of course, but because, let's face it, it's not about Harrison. It's about... I mean, it is for me because he's hot, but I mean, and he's beautiful and he's funny as hell in this, and he's adorable and likable and all that. But I mean, it's not about that. It's about, obviously, okay, dare I say it, it's women in the workplace, which, by the way, in 1988 that was a big deal. You know, women being successful. Back then, I think.
Well, sure. In that level of business.
In that level of business.
Because you had 9 to 5 almost a whole decade earlier, but those girls aren't at the height of career.
Well, they were, again, in the secretarial pool.
Right.
Which is what they were.
Yeah. Not
saying anything bad about that. There's nothing wrong with being a secretary.
I prefer the term assistant.
Oh, okay. Okay, Baxter, at the end. Nice touche. You know, I was I say, yeah, you're right. I hate that term, secretary. It's so outdated. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's not anything bad if that's what you do, but it's now really, when you look at it, you know, there are men secretaries too. But I mean, now it's considered there have been. I'm just saying but I think assistant is the more proper term probably these days. And God, if you're going to get politically correct, then even more so, because, you know, we don't want to offend anybody, so we got to say assistant. But I was an assistant for many years.
Still an assistant.
Huh?
We're all assistants.
We're all assistants, really, in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so Mike Nichols is the director. And Mike Nichols is no longer with us. He passed in 2014. Yeah. And was Diane Sawyer's husband. Just a little bit of info for folks out there that might not know that. We all know who Diane Sawyer is, clearly.
Yes.
This was a very big deal when he died. I believe she was devastated, of course. Mike Nichols also Closer. I believe the last time I watched Working Girl, I watched Closer right afterwards.
Closer is his most recent film that I recognize him as. He might have done something after that.
No, he's done stuff, but I'm not going to sit here and look up everything he's done. I just wanted to note, this is Mike Nichols, 1988. This goddamn cast. It's
right off of Biloxi Blues.
Jesus,
which I love.
It's just, I fucking love this movie. I don't want to do this whole thing where I'm shocked you haven't seen it.
Why'd you pick it? What propelled you to do Working Girl?
Well, which I said earlier when we started, you had not seen it. I'm sorry, you said you had seen certain scenes, but you don't recall you've seen the whole thing. And I just love this movie. Well, 80s. I love this movie. And it's funny because I can talk about, as an example, Breakfast Club, which I just watched recently as well, like last week. And, anybody can say, first of all, you should never ask anyone, why do you love Breakfast Club? That's not a question you ask anybody. Don't ever do that. It's like, Jesus Christ, it's Breakfast Club. So that you don't ask anybody that because it's fucking Breakfast Club. There's just, this movie's, it speaks to me because, not just because it's the 80s, it's, the acting's great, it's the chemistry, like with Harrison Ford and Melanie Griffith. These are two people I wouldn't normally hook up, like in a relationship any other time. But I believe it. It's believable to me. It's sexy. It's hot. It's like, it's romantic. I felt all of it. Like, all of it. It wasn't like overt sex stuff. It was just like the way they looked at each other. And then when he's in the boardroom and he's like, towards the end when they're going to put the deal together and he's like, I love you. And she's like, I love you too. I'm like, oh my God. Like, every time I see this movie, when I was single, I watched this movie and went...
It was like a comfort movie sort of thing.
Yeah. I would watch it when I was single and go, I want that. I truly want that. Like, it was believable, to me. I think I said something last night. We were talking about a movie to our friend. And I said something about chemistry in the movie that we had recently watched. And I believe it was you or the friend. I honestly can't remember. But one of you said, Kristy, it's called acting. And I'm like, and I just took it for what you said. And, okay, it's more than acting. It has to be believable. You can't just act a scene with somebody with and have those feelings. And there's like that hotness and that tension and that, maybe even eventually love behind it. And I know that's acting, but I'm just saying that's great fucking acting. Well, when you feel the chemistry in the audience. Am I right?
I agree with that 100%. And I think chemistry is exceptionally important. And I think that it's thrown around loosely to say, these actors have great chemistry.
Yes.
Or this actor has great chemistry. First of all, you should never hear the term in a singular. You can never say this actor has great chemistry because one person doesn't have chemistry. You need the chemistry is a process between two people and two actors.
That's what I meant.
And it requires two actors at a competent level.
Well, who would ever think it was singular, though?
I'm just saying there's people that I've seen criticism of movies with relationships where they will say one actor, is good in it, and the other one just falls flat.
Okay.
And I've seen them say this actor has chemistry. It's incorrect.
It's absolutely incorrect.
The scene has to have chemistry.
I'm sorry, and I've never thought of chemistry as singular. Yeah. I guess I could say if you were walking around and people were like, Shawn, he's a great guy. Shawn has chemistry. Right? Okay, yeah, I get it.
It doesn't make any sense.
I'm sorry. First of all, no offense. You have
internet criticism.
Well, you have chemistry, is what I'm saying. You don't, but
your chemistry's not so bad.
Thank you. Okay, just that took a little bit longer on the comeback, but okay. I appreciate that. But I'm just saying, it's just who's saying that? Chemistry should be. It should be noted. It's between two fucking people.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying. You've seen, how many movies have we seen? And we've seen a lot of movies together where the couple's together and I'm just like, what?
Next week there will be some chemistry.
Oh, okay.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I don't know what your movie is yet.
Tease for later.
Oh, is that a tease? Yeah. Okay. I don't know if there's white rain in it.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. But you get what I'm saying about that. Okay. And by the way, there's there's a lot of movies where we know the chemistry's over the top. Okay, let's bring it up. The Notebook. Okay, first of all, I've seen that movie once. I'm not going to watch it again because it wrecked me with the fucking ending. And I know it's a book. What's his name? Nick Hornsby?
Nick Hornsby, yes.
Okay, look, everybody talked about that movie. I said, I can't do it, and then I did it and it wrecked me. I'm not doing it again. Sorry for you Notebook lovers out there, but I'm not going to do it. That's fucking chemistry. Gosling and Rachel McAdams, who, by the way, dated for quite a while after that. And when they broke up, it was almost like, what's her name? Jenna and Channing.
Yeah.
Breaking up. I mean, like, the world shut down.
Did Julia Roberts ruin both of their relationships too?
Right? That's I know. Because you know what? Because we're on episode 3. And if we can segue and bring full circle Julia Roberts.
I want Julia Roberts to come up in every episode.
Yeah, and you know why? Because Julia, if you're listening, we do love you, but somehow you do come up in so far every single episode.
Because you're always breaking up our
exactly. So, but I don't think you had anything to do with Channing Tatum and Jenna Dewan.
I don't.
To my knowledge, thank God they have a beautiful child out of it.
Yes.
But
they did their part.
But Rachel McAdams and Ryan Gosling, come on,
two beautiful people.
I mean, like, why didn't you stay together and have babies? I remember. Okay, this sounds terrible. When Kennedy got shot. Where were you when Kennedy got shot? I know where I was when Rachel McAdams and Ryan Gosling broke up. I'm just saying, it was devastating. So, but I think they both moved on, so it's okay. And I know we're segueing right now, but that's what we do. This is what K&S does. So I apologize.
I'm just fascinated how we got Working Girl into Rachel McAdams and Ryan Gosling.
Oh, I'll tell you why. Because we're talking about chemistry.
How we got it there.
No, I mean, yeah.
But it's like, what? And then Kennedy's assassination.
Yeah. What didn't come into play though? Julia Roberts, which is ironic because she did not come up. Well, she hasn't yet. We still have the podcast is still young.
I mean, I'm sure we can.
Anyway, what I was trying to say is,
I want to make a Julia Roberts connection.
Oh, is there one?
Like a legit one. This movie.
It's not Aaron Brockovich.
No. This movie is kind of a Cinderella-esque story, right?
Okay.
And watching it really reminded me a lot of Pretty Woman.
Okay.
In certain ways. Just in the flows of the relationships. But it kind of is a role reversal.
Yeah.
Because, obviously, Harrison Ford's kind of the none the wiser person in this movie.
Sure.
And he's certainly no Richard Gere.
And also...
He's not making the calls in this movie. He's along for the ride.
Also, Melanie did not leave Kiefer at the altar and go off with Jason Patrick in this either.
Ironically...
So...
Pretty Woman about working girls.
Yes.
And had less nudity than the movie Working Girl.
Yes. Interesting. Well, a little bit of boob by Melanie.
Free moving back human.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the funniest part. Okay, anyway, let's preface this. Julia Roberts, you made it into episode 3, girl. You did. And somehow we're just going to... Legitimately, we're somehow going to find you in every goddamn episode. So if you're out there, give us a shout if you want. The best part was there's boobs in this. What is that website? Remember it was a knocked up...
Mr. Skin.
Yes, Mr. Skin. Yeah. About what if you want to see there's boobs here. And okay. Ironically, they said Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman during that one scene where her boob showed in like...
Oh, I don't even remember that. No, I remember the movie, but I don't remember a nip slip incident in Pretty Woman.
Oh my God. Oh, it's so brief. And by the way, if you watch that scene in Pretty Woman, like it's the bed frame is there and it's so... You have to really be staring.
Frame by frame.
Yes, it's so tiny. It's so tiny. Not that I was looking at Julia Roberts' boobs.
Nobody got time for that. Maybe you had time for that in 1990.
Yeah, maybe you did. Maybe you did.
But I don't have time
so it's like, wow, there's boobs on screen. Anyway, where she rolls over in bed, Melanie in with Harrison Ford, and we saw a little woo hello. That was, it was quick, but there it was. And then when she's vacuuming, and honestly, my favorite part of watching you watch this movie tonight, I go, there she is vacuuming, no bra, like free boobin, and your comment was
free boobin vacuuming.
Free boobin vacuuming. Should we copyright that?
I think
you could.
Like, if we actually named these episodes things, that would have been the name of the episode. But we just named the episode after the movie.
Okay, but free boobin vacuuming.
Vacuuming.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Should be the official website.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you come out with some witty ones. It surprises me.
Sometimes.
I mean, it's,
podcasting is hard.
Podcasting is hard. It's it's not often you do it, but it's good. So anyway, that's why I picked the movie. All I was saying on the chemistry thing is, I know that's why we segued into Notebook. I was just giving an example. I know there's other movies where the chemistry is whoa, like fucking that's hot.
Yeah.
Okay, do I have to say it? Nick Cage and
Laura Dern.
No, that's not where I was going. Nick Cage and Meg Ryan by the fireplace, and I know you're not a big fan. You're not a big fan of City of Angels. We agree to disagree, right? Like we're okay.
We agree to disagree because I enjoy the ridiculousness of City of Angels,
and also
as much as you love
whoever's listening. We could do a 3-hour podcast of City of Angels, just Shawn and I talking about it.
Well, we won't.
But we won't because. But I'm just saying of how I feel about it and how Shawn feels about it. I feel strongly about it, and Shawn just isn't a fan. But I'm right. But I mean, but we won't ever do a podcast about it. But we could. I'm just saying the chemistry there.
It'd be a special edition.
It would.
Yeah.
But that. Again, with chemistry, them in front of the fireplace at the end doing it.
Yeah, no, it's
oh my god!
I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, there's more. The fireplace is not the only thing that's hot in that scene. Okay, I'm just saying. Like Jesus.
It was so good she had to go out for breakfast.
I know, right? Oh, yeah, was not a great idea, but whatever. Anyway,
should have slept in.
So, see what happens? You should sleep in. Anyway, so chemistry is a little bit different in this than versus that. I get it. I'm just saying this was more, what's the word?
You said real or believable.
Well, I meant real or believable. I'm trying. What's the word I'm thinking of? It's not as obvious. It's just there. You know what I mean? Like just when it's just there,
it feels natural.
It feels natural, exactly.
And if there wasn't silliness in this movie, because I do feel that there's a little bit, not from Melanie Griffith,
right,
but a little bit of over the topness from the Sigourney Weaver character,
for sure.
Because not only, and I don't even mean in her interactions with everybody, but her character herself is a little bit over the top. The party in the hospital room, kind of friggin' ridiculous. The walking in with the crutches, using the crutch to point out Melanie Griffith. It's a
but it's her character.
Moment.
But it's a
fun,
character moment.
Right. And I absolutely thought she was great in the lingerie scene with Harrison Ford, where she's trying to come on to him and Harrison Ford is just trying to leave.
Yeah.
I think both of those actors. Talk about just acting chemistry together. Yes. I mean, obviously not a sexual chemistry because one is clearly not interested, but the comedy aspect of their chemistry together was really good.
Also, did you notice when they were at the eating sandwiches when she tells him we're gonna go meet Trask, but it's a meeting, we're gonna meet him for lunch.
Yeah.
But Harrison. And they're talking, and he's got the little piece of mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. Like, Mike Nichols, dude, you saw that. And, like, in the edits, you saw that. But you decided to leave that little piece of mayonnaise on his mouth.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was scripted that way.
I don't know. I always thought that was maybe ad-lib.
I feel like that was intentional to show Harrison Ford not as a leading clean gentleman all the time, just as like a real person.
But I dug it, and it was adorable.
Yeah.
I still think it was ad lib. I'd actually like to look that up.
I mean, I'd like to know, but There's no commentary. There's no bonus features on any of these. I mean, maybe that information's out there. You can't call up Mike Nichols, unfortunately.
And sorry, that was a little random thing, folks, I brought up, but it's just every time I watch this movie, I think of the mayonnaise scene.
Those are the moments.
But I love it. Love that little moment. Also, come on, we got to talk about it. The elephant in the room.
What's that?
Twin Towers, New York City.
Filmed inside Tower 7.
Yeah. Filmed on location in New York City. And what you just said, I'm sorry, filmed in what?
It was in 7 World Trade Center.
Yeah.
The Trask lobby, or not the Trask lobby, but the main office.
The main office
lobby was in World Trade Center 7, which is one of the towers that everybody talks about. Tower 1, Tower 2, which were the big ones.
Yeah.
But Tower 7 was also wiped away in 9/11.
But just all the shots of this movie, I've told you. Every time I watch it, I look, I'm a sap. I'll admit it. Not all the time, but I can be a sap. And this movie always makes me cry on all the shots where the ferry's coming across, and they're doing the shots of the skyline and of New York City, but of Twin Towers specifically, and this just being.
I actually really like the focus on the ferry itself.
Me too.
Because it happens.
They focus on it quite a bit.
There's several scenes, not like substantial scenes, but there's scenes on the ferry, and because that's what she travels back and forth to work in. And any other movie in the 80s either wouldn't show the commute, or just shows the bustling city of New York, or they would take the subway to wherever they went, within the city,
right?
And this one. Focuses more on the ferry, and it certainly is a more attractive.
But there's lots of shots of the Twin Towers, and it's
because you're coming up. I know.
Ocean, but I mean, what's funny is that here's the thing. You know how many times I've watched how many episodes of I have the Friends box set. So clearly, how many episodes of Friends I watch, and how many shots of Twin Towers are in that.
Yeah.
Many movies I've watched. Well. First of all, I'm being an 80s fan. I'm going to see a lot of movies with Twin Towers in it if they're set in New York City.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. But it's then when you throw in Carly Simon, Let the River Run, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, which is a great song. Great song.
But then put that with the backdrop of New York City and the Twin Towers.
The slow pull out from the office, seeing everybody else's windowed office.
Yeah.
Realizing how many other people work in those buildings.
Yeah, which is why I said to you, because you had never seen it when it ended, I said, just watch when the camera comes out. It's like, wow, she just got this big job with Trask, and entry-level position, of course, but, it's probably still a great fucking job. But then, you're just one of many in all these big buildings. But that was New York.
But that's New York.
But I don't want to say that was New York. It is still New York. Yeah. So the one question that's driving me nuts, and knew we were going to discuss it. So she's living with Alec Baldwin, who we haven't even discussed in the last 40 minutes, which is interesting. The snake, or the pig, as I call him.
What I couldn't get out of my... Before you go too deep, because I want you to... When I first saw him on screen, which is when he's in bed, and he had just purchased Melanie Griffith,
her little lingerie
outfit for her birthday or whatever.
Yeah.
And he just kind of is like leaning, looking at her and goes, "You look incredible," or "You look beautiful," or whatever. The way he looked with his greased, slick back hair...
Yeah.
All I could think about, and you'll either see this or you won't, is in Wayne's World when Rob Lowe is in the dream sequence at the end, looking at Tia Carrere, getting him a drink or something, and he's like, "You were incredible," or whatever like that. It's like there's just something beautifully smarmy.
Oh my God, I was just going to say smarmy
about Alec Baldwin, which, I mean, I don't mean that as a person.
No, I'm freaking out that actually I was literally just going to drop, like Mike dropped smarmy, and you just said smarmy.
Stole it. Sorry.
fuck.
Sorry.
Okay.
But anyway,
yeah.
Talk about Alec
also,
Baldwin.
look. I don't care if you have a hairy chest, but you are the epitome snake, hairy chest with your necklace, and you're like buying her lingerie, and she even says, "Come on, could you like buy me a sweater, something I could wear outside of this apartment?"
That's Staten Island, baby. The whole island is a trash dump.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's literally.
And if you're from Staten Island,
if you're from Staten Island, you understand.
Okay.
I am not insulting the Staten Island people.
Okay.
They'll understand.
But he was definitely smarmy. I believe in my Letterboxd review, if you want to check it out, I said, she calls him Snake, and I said, or pig, whatever. But I mean, just that typical, I don't want to say that typical guy, because not all guys are like smarmy pigs. I shouldn't really say that. But anyway, what's funny, segue where I was going with this. So she was living with him, okay, and he starts bopping Doreen. So, clearly then she leaves him. And then I get it. So then she's staying in Sigourney Weaver's apartment because she's away, in the hospital from her accident. But then you get found out, you have nowhere to live. And I turned to you at the end of the movie and I was like, of all the times hear me out. Yeah. Of all the times I've seen this, I'm like, where the fuck did she go? She doesn't have an apartment. She's not at Sigourney's. Are you at a hotel? It's not stated, because you even said it's been at least a week, right?
Right.
From the time that you got called out in the meeting, and then when you go to pick up your stuff at work, all your personals, and the girls all get in together and give you a check, and here, this is for, don't go out and get toasted one night, don't pay the Con Ed with it.
Right.
But then it like literally got me thinking for the first time.
New York line too.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm like, or they should have said, don't go spend it on eyeshadow or white rain. But then it get me thinking, like, where are you staying?
Well, that's one of the mysteries of
what
the
do
film.
you think?
I feel like
maybe Joan Cusack, but she was already married. So but I guess you could have stayed. I mean, she's married, so she might not have like room for you because she's married now.
I feel like she's staying with a friend someplace.
She's got to be, right?
She's got to be, but also first of all, I want to clarify. I really enjoyed this movie.
You did.
So I just want to get this out there because I'm going to get critical for a second here about the final act of this movie. Everything felt logical.
Yes.
And really well paced and really well thought out. Sometimes in a show not tell way, which is the language of movies, which I really like. Until the final act of the movie. Because you have the final act, you have the confrontation, right? And I feel like the confrontation between, and I don't mean the final confrontation, I mean the boardroom confrontation.
I get it.
Is
she didn't speak her mind.
Right, and she leaves. So at that moment, nobody needs to tell her she's fired. You know that she's fired, right? And
I also wish she would have stood up for herself, but she said it at the end. Nobody would have believed me.
But it feels like at least several days pass between then and the following scenes.
At least.
Because there's a progression that happens between Harrison Ford and Sigourney Weaver in the deal that's being made.
Yeah.
And she comes back and she's wearing different clothes to empty out her desk.
Oh, yes.
So
as is Melanie Griffith.
So it's not like she got walked out of the building. A time progression had happened between then and now. And
I think only a couple of days.
And maybe only a couple days. That's fine.
She had to be staying with Joan Cusack.
She had to be staying with somebody because she's clearly not staying with Alec Baldwin.
No.
Because we established that Alec Baldwin's in an actual relationship now with.
And I'm not steak. You can't order me.
It's a terrible line.
It's a great line. What, you seriously? Okay, I like the line.
It's kind of a terrible line.
Okay,
but your question about where she's staying is valid because it's never really established.
It's not established at all. But I never thought about it until maybe tonight.
If this were Pretty Woman and she got kicked out of the hotel, you'd expect Julia Roberts to go hang out with Laura San Giacomo. Because that's who she'd be hanging out with the whole movie.
In her roach-infested
hotel room. Or apartment. Yeah, sorry. But there's no real sisterly relationship established here
No.
with anyone except Joan Cusack.
It has to be. It has. Here's the funny thing. I watch so many movies that, like, literally, this is what I do. I nitpick, and then somebody always, whether it's you or my brother, and you're not wrong, somebody, or our buddy Brent, somebody always goes, oh my God, that's what you're thinking about? Like, nobody's thinking about that. I think it should be talked about. Where the fuck were you staying? Because, also, do you notice when she paid, when she went to the dry cleaners to give fix all of Sigourney's clothes that she had been wearing? Where'd all that cash come from? Like, I know you're working, but you're still a secretary.
Right.
But, like, all of a sudden she's got all this money. You know what I mean? Although that's not unusual.
I mean, she might be getting paid decently as a secretary.
Yeah, I guess so. I just thought it was weird. She dropped all this cash.
To do more.
You know? I know. But like little nuances came to me like that. Definitely. I don't care if it was 2 days, 3 days. Where the fuck were you staying? But it had to be Joan Cusack.
I have a bigger problem.
Bigger than that?
Yes.
Okay.
Bigger than that. So, she comes back, she cleans up her desk. And then in the lobby, is when Trask and Sigourney and
the other dudes.
And Harrison and the other people of the board. Suits. Right. They bump into her in the elevator. Has that fine, amusing exchange.
Yeah.
And then they go up the elevator with Trask.
Yeah.
Together, explain how she came up with the plan. Spoiler alert for anybody who might not have seen it.
Right.
And
so we know it was her idea, not Sigourney's. Right. Okay.
Somehow get to the floor that they're going before Sigourney and they're because they went into the elevator first and went upstairs.
I know.
But I'm willing to give that a pass.
Okay, I know you're going to this.
But then when they get upstairs and they all meet, and Trask confronts Sigourney on how did you come up with the plan, and obviously she didn't, so she flusters and she fails. Trask fires Sigourney.
Yeah.
And then offers, Melanie Griffith a job. Not her job, but a job in his company.
Yes, I get it.
This whole movie has been about them and their company trying to get a deal together with Trask.
I know where you're going with this, yeah.
How does Trask have any authority over Sigourney Weaver's job?
Right.
He could go to her boss, like her higher up, and tell him she's full of shit or you're exposed, you're fired. But he could break the deal, saying, I'm not dealing with you anymore. I'm dealing with Melanie Griffith because I know you're a fucking phony.
Yeah.
But he doesn't say that. He says,
I get it.
Get in your office. I'm giving you 5 minutes to enjoy that view before you're out of it.
Right. Because he's Orrin Trask.
But he doesn't work for them.
I think he's Orrin Trask. I think he's Orrin fucking Trask. Okay? I think he he can do what he wants to. He's got the monopoly on pretty much anything, and he's like you saw him. He didn't even have to be in that meeting.
Yes, but that meeting was
I know what you're saying.
With his people.
I'm just saying. I think he's got a lot of fucking weight in the Penny Marsh, whatever is not a subsidiary. Acquisitions, mergers and acquisitions. I think they're all somehow tied, and he's on top.
Well,
that's what I think.
I'm sure they're a very incestuous business, but I don't think that they're as. I think one's a client of the other.
Right.
I don't think they're the same business or tied into the same business.
Yeah.
That's the vibe that I get from it. Now, I mean, I was hoping you were like, oh, Shawn, you just fucking missed something, and here it is. Because that's a real sticking point to me on the writing of this movie. Because there's other parts that I think are actually written very brilliant.
No, that's a great point. You know what I was just thinking of? I know you're going to laugh, but it's stupid shit I do. I was like, they both left the ground floor at the same time, yet their elevator beat Sigourney Weaver's. Yes. That always bugged me. But now I realize it was just those three on their elevator. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they could have had to make 2 or 3 other stops. because Sigourney had a bunch of other people on her elevator.
Yeah, but all those people came in with Sigourney.
See, that's what's interesting.
That's
how did your elevator, and your elevator got there, and you still had time to like Melanie and
chat for a few seconds
at least a few seconds, but your elevators left at the same time. What is that physics question? 2 elevators leave at the same time, going X amount of, you know what I'm saying?
I believe it's a train that leaves at the same time.
Is it a train? I know, but you know what I'm saying. Train, elevator, whatever.
Right.
It's that whole fucking thing, that physics thing. Like, I mean, I'm just saying. You had, like, how did it...
These
shit
are the mysteries.
These are the mysteries.
Maybe they're explained in the deleted scenes that we saw.
You know what? Maybe I need to see that.
Yeah.
But I digress. I seriously... I get what you're saying about... I have thought about that before. How did he have the authority to fire? Because technically, mergers and... I'm just looking at it as mergers and acquisitions. That's kind of a mouthful.
Right.
Like, you have to... Or in Trask has to be over all of that, because clearly you had the authority to do that. I'm just saying. You know what's also funny? This is why I love these podcasts, because, you know, we talk about movies. It's fascinating. Shawn gets to hear my thoughts on if I haven't seen something he wanted to show me, you know, and then vice versa. This is why we're doing this. But I also, it's little things. I think we all sit at home when we're watching a movie and go, okay, why? Like, prime example, we saw E.T. for the 40th anniversary. Shawn and I did on Friday in the theater in IMAX. It was awesome. And like, stupid shit. You know, when, like, first of all, the shed where E.T. is hiding out at originally, why'd you keep that light on all night? Especially when you knew there was a coyote. Like, that was okay.
Forget the light. Why the pizza?
No, the pizza thing was I was going to say first, but in seeing it the other day, I was like, why is that light on? Why do you keep that light on in the shed all night? But then, secondly, exactly, you and I both looked at each other like, what? Okay, so you dropped the pizza when you freaked out, but then, like, the rest of the kids and the mom went inside and just left the pizza. It's stupid.
You think that there's a coyote out?
Yeah, you think there's a coyote out or a wild animal.
Why isn't that pizza in the trash can? Exactly.
Now, like, okay, we established you're not going to eat said pizza because it was smushed and it was, remember, mashed and, you know, it was ruined. But, like, what? Like, I'm sorry, maybe it's my OCD. I would have picked the fucking box up and, like, just...
Yeah, I wouldn't have just walked outside.
Like, it's just,
back inside.
Okay, so we're not going to eat it.
Yeah, no, of course not.
Okay, we're not going to eat it, but throw it away. Don't be slobs. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ. I'm just saying. Spielberg.
Hey, you know what?
Where was your head?
Dee Wallace was a busy woman. She was single.
I know. God bless her.
She was recent divorcee.
I know, but you know what? You know what you have time for, Dee Wallace? Pick up the fucking pizza. That's all I'm saying. Oh, and shut the light off in the shed. Because electricity. Come on. This is how my mind works. And I am going to be 51 years old.
How are you going to tie that back
tomorrow?
Girl?
Huh?
How are you going to tie that?
I don't know, but I'm going to be 51 years old tomorrow. Yeah, my birthday's tomorrow. And I will tell you, 40 years later, I am still wondering why Dee Wallace didn't pick up that fucking pizza. I'm just saying, the more you know. The more you know. It's weird.
I'm wondering why Harrison Ford is making lunch for his wife on her first day of work.
Right.
And
it's not the wife.
His girlfriend, right?
Okay. She has a place to live, though. We've established that.
His new roommate.
Is she paying rent? I hope so.
She got a promotion. She got hired at his company.
Yeah, but do you think it's the 80s? Do you think he's, like, paying the rent and she, like, he's asking her for anything?
I don't know. For two successful people, they have a pretty small kitchen, though.
That's true.
But he makes her lunch.
He gave her milk money.
Yeah. Which I know that he's being cute. But in his lunchbox, first of all they're sharing a piece of toast.
Yeah. He also gave her a Twinkie.
And he gave her a Twinkie. Melanie Griffith's not eating your fucking Twinkie.
Have you seen her? She's not eating it.
She's barely eating anything.
She needs to eat a Twinkie.
She needs to, but she doesn't have time for it. She is a businesswoman in New York in 1988.
You know what she doesn't have time for? To put on a bra when she's vacuuming.
She needs coffee.
What do you call it?
Coffee and cocaine. That's
Coffee
what
and
she
cocaine.
needs to do her job.
And sorry, the
Shoulder
free
pads.
boobin
Oh,
vacuum.
Free boobin vacuum.
Jesus Christ! If you got nothing else from this podcast, free boobin.
Vacuuming.
Yeah. By the way, I think we have the copyright on that, so don't try and take it from us. I'd appreciate it. We'd like to thank all four of you, or more. Hopefully by episode 3, who are listening,
or the thousands of people,
or the thousands
that are listening
I
to
know.
us
Let's
years in the future.
Yeah, let's shoot big, should we? We'd also like to specifically thank White Rain.
Yes.
Without you, we probably couldn't be here.
Well, this movie might not exist.
Yeah. I'd like to thank, I don't know, L'Oreal for, all your eyeshadows from the 80s. I specifically miss you, blue eyeshadow. And
you know what I miss? Gonna be real honest.
What do you miss?
I miss the perfume, and maybe this still exists. I don't even know. Exclamation.
I have not heard of that.
You have not heard.
I don't think I've heard of
Exclamation.
that. I can't say that I have.
Exclamation. I still remember the commercial.
Oh, sweet Jesus!
Might be early 90s.
Is it female or male?
I think they had both, but it was predominantly geared towards women.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said perfume, so that I should have already known it was female. But
I mean, or Eau de Toilette.
Eau de Toilette. Okay. We cannot thank you.
Exclamation, because I don't.
Yeah,
think
because
it exists.
and also, we're not. You're not as cool as White Rain, so we just.
Anyway, now that I've been sufficiently aroused by all of the free boob and vacuum,
yes, we would like to announce our next episode, which Shawn will introduce. What will be episode 4, and the movie he's going to drop on me that I have not seen, and it is, drumroll please, I don't know.
Wild Things, 1997, I think.
Okay.
Possibly 1998.
Oh, is that a little Nev Campbell action?
There's a little Nev Campbell action.
And I believe action being the key word here.
Yes,
the
little Kevin Bacon action.
Oh,
a little bit of Matt Dillon action.
Oh my God.
And a little bit of Denise Richards action to, complete the
the
sexy square.
The sexy square. It is 1998.
1998.
I will say,
John McNaughton, I believe, who directed Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a different kind of vibe, though, movie. Because then...
yes, it's not comparable to...
No, and also I love that movie. As you know, my first little taste of Rucker. So, love him very much, if you're listening, Rucker. Anyway... So that's crazy. I cannot believe I've not seen Wild Things. I believe it came up in a couple conversations the last few nights. And
Arrow just released the 4K.
Yeah, I did not know you were going to drop Wild Things on me. I will have my pack of cigarettes ready.
Yep.
Because apparently there's a lot of hotness, and I think it's absolutely cigarette worthy. From what I understand.
From what I remember.
Okay.
To be fair, I have seen the movie.
Okay.
And I bought the movie. Saw Nev Campbell a month ago at Mad Monster. Shout out to Nev Campbell.
Yeah, shout out Nev.
So it kind of reminded me of this movie a little bit.
Okay.
And
is this a lot for my virgin eyes, I'm assuming?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's nothing you haven't seen in Working Girl.
No.
I mean, because,
Please.
I've
heard of Wild Things is there's a lot of stuff going on.
There's some sexy times.
There's some sexy times, but I don't want to read too much into it. But I will have a pack of cigarettes handy, from what I understand. Mm-hmm. But all right, I'm looking forward to that. Episode 4, which we will drop
coming at you next week.
This was fun. Thanks for being here and listening, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Have a good week. See you next time.
Cheers.
What's that fragrance you're wearing?
Exclamation!